The number one tip on how you will instantly shoot better photos is to create depth. How do you create depth? What is depth? In a photo, you can create multiple layers. In this photo, you can see that there are multiple layers, multiple stages created by multiple factors. There's something in the foreground, there's the subject, and there's something in the background. There already you have three layers of potential interest that give depth to a photo. This depth can also be created by a shallow depth of field, for example, bokeh. However, if you combine both of these techniques, this can really make for an amazing portrait. The second tip to shooting better portraits is to shoot at the right time. What I commonly see when people are traveling is that in the middle of noon, like when there's the bright out sun on top of your head, they shoot a photo. And that is like the worst thing you can do, because what happens is that you're gonna have a bunch of dark circles in your face, a bunch of bad shadows. If you have to shoot at midday, maybe you should go into a shadow and shoot there. That way you don't have those bad shadows in your face, because you're basically all in shadow and you have a pretty flat surface to work with. Or you shoot in the morning or in the afternoon. There's something called golden hour if you don't know what golden hour is. The key aspect, and this is tip number 3, know your lighting. A lot of people think, oh, I have a nice camera, I will be able to shoot amazing photos. And I thought that too. I bought quite a few cameras in my life. Ever since I was like 13, I bought like quite a few. And when I bought my first camera, I thought this would be the case. And some photos were actually pretty amazing, while others were really shitty. And this is because I did not understand lighting. The better you understand how the sun or how your light is facing and working with your subject, the better of a portrait you will create. That is very important. And there are a ton of tutorials on how to understand lighting. Maybe I will do one as well. But lighting is like the key principle to understanding how to shoot better portraits. If you want to go really safe, you could go always into like a more shadowy place where you have a more flat image. And if you want to be really risky, you go into something where you have very harsh lights and shadows. It's up to you. The fourth tip on how to shoot better portraits comes back to the basics, and this is understand your camera. Really familiarize yourself with the basics of photography. If you know them perfectly well, you will be able to shoot already great pictures. Straight off a camera, you can just put it into Lightroom and make an amazing edit out of that. Guaranteed. No matter which camera you have. If you have a very expensive camera, or if you have a very inexpensive camera, or even if you're shooting with your iPhone, learn the basics. Tip number 5, treat your portraits less of like, I want to take a nice picture of a person, and more like, I want to actually create and tell a story with that picture. Why does that help you? If you just want to take a nice picture of a person, maybe you're like, okay, yeah, that person's skin is now looking very nice, and all the rest doesn't really fit, because you focus so much on the individual itself and not really on the environment, on how is that person placed in that environment, what is the pose of that person. If you consider these things and you treat it more of like a painting, I know that's a weird analogy, but the composition of your subject and of the environment and of the lighting and of everything else should be coherent. The best way to study that is either, again, there are countless tutorials on YouTube how to be better at composition, but a personal tip I can really give you is to study art. Look at paintings, look at how they create composition, and learn these basic rules. A lot of valuable information can come from other fields of art, and you can apply that immediately to your photography, as well as videography, of course. So that's it, 5 tips how to do better portraits. If you want, you can check out my other videos. If you're in Vienna and you want to have a photo shoot, you can write me at novasmedia.com. I'll be happy to work with you. If not, we can also just have a coffee. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and see you next time.